What's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard here with Ballard Sports Media, coming at you today with another 2020 college football preview video. And today we got a team from the Big Ten, the Michigan Wolverines. All right, the Michigan Wolverines are coming off a 9-4 season with the bowl loss, of course, to Alabama. They made the Citrus Bowl, played Alabama in Orlando. Of course, they lost to Alabama. I'm going to be straight honest. I couldn't care less if Bama had lost that game. That's not what they wanted. It's not, but it's what they got. But you look at the season. Open up with a win over Middle Tennessee, 40-21, no problem. Then you play Army. You beat them at overtime. Probably should have lost that game. Every team got 2 bye weeks. They got theirs early in week 3. You come off that and you lose 35-14 to Wisconsin on the road. Next week, 52-0 shutout against Rutgers. Then you beat Iowa at home, 10-3. I'm not really going to go through all these scores, but then you beat Illinois on the road, beat Penn State, or actually you lost to Penn State on the road, 28-21. Could have won it, did not win it. And then after that, you beat Notre Dame in a blowout. Really good win for you guys. You needed that one at home. Notre Dame comes on the road, 45-14. You beat them at I guess what you guys call the Big House, which I don't blame you. It's a pretty big stadium. Then at Maryland, 38-7, you beat them on the road. Maryland with a new head coach in Mike Locksley. Well, it'll be interesting to see how they do. But I would say Mike Locksley did okay at least. But Maryland was just a team down in the dumps the past few years. Could not be anything whatsoever. Just give Mike Locksley some time. They'll be competing. But you beat them on the road 38-7. Then you had your second bye week. Everyone had 2 bye weeks because of how the calendar fell. It all had to do with Thanksgiving being on the 28th of November. Rivalry Day would be on November 30th. And in order to have 12 games, you had to start in late August, and in order to do all that, you had to have 2 bye weeks. Come off the bye week, Michigan State, a win, 44-10, no problem. At Indiana, 39-14 win. And then Ohio State, of course, you guys lost 56-27. At home, by the way, you lost it. So you went 9-4, 9-3 in the regular season, 9-4 if you count the bowl loss to Bama in the Citrus Bowl, 35-16, as I mentioned before. With that being said, let's move on and get into 2020. All right, you're going to open up with the Pac-12 team. You open up with a better opponent than what you opened up with last year, which was Middle Tennessee. You open up with Washington, but this is on the road in... Well, where does Washington play? I'm not even sure. They probably play in Seattle where the Seahawks play. Then you play Ball State week 2. That's a home game. Arkansas State, that's a home game. That's week 3. Then you finally get some good Big Ten competition in week 4 with Wisconsin at home. So you open up with a road game, and your first 4 games are pretty much cupcakes except for Wisconsin. Then Penn State comes to town. Then you go on the road, play Michigan State. I already did a preview video for them. I did a Penn State preview video. I did a Minnesota preview video. You get Michigan State on the road, then Minnesota. Then you get Purdue, and then you finally get a bye week. Then you're home against Maryland, at Rutgers, home against Indiana, at Ohio State. This is interesting, if anything. It's kind of a cupcake schedule. So let's just go down the list real quick. It'll be interesting to see what they do without Shea Patterson at quarterback. I don't even know who they got coming in, but it's still going to be interesting to see what that's going to look like. The defense is going to be great. They looked okay last year, but I don't know what it is about you Michigan Wolverines having great defense all year, but as soon as Ohio State comes, the Ohio State Buckeye curse, not only do you lose to them every year, you give up 50, 60 points to them. No matter how good your defense was all year, it sucks in the final week. I don't know what to tell you. But you look at the schedule. At Washington, you start out, should be no problem. Washington is it's an okay program. I like what Chris Peterson's done there. Made the playoff a few years ago. Hasn't done much since. They're a team that you look at them in Oregon, kind of competing to win the Pac-12, win the division, and everything like that. Oregon really took it last year, and it was not even close. With Justin Herbert, and you had really good offensive linemen, some guys to look out for as far as the 2021 draft goes. There's this, what's that, Shane Limo, I don't know what his name is, or maybe he was a prospect last year. I think he was a prospect last year, because I think he got drafted, but anyway. But, the Pac-12 is, it's an alright kind of conference. It's not like ACC bad or anything like that. But it's still a conference to keep your eye on. So, open up at Washington. I don't know how Washington is going to be. They might be okay. Now, they had Jacob Eason last year who transferred out of Georgia. Great guy. Great talent. He's with the Colts now. Be interesting to see what he does there. I mean, even with him at quarterback, y'all still struggled. Y'all got quite a few pieces to fix. You got a lot to figure out. I like Michigan as a better team, though. So I think Michigan can handle it week 1. Give that a win. Ball State week 2, no problem. That's a cupcake. Arkansas State, cupcake. Wisconsin comes to town. I'm not sure what to make of Wisconsin. It might be a really good team. They're kind of an up and down team. I might do a preview video for them. But now if this were on the road and Wisconsin was hosting you guys, that's a different story. They're normally really good at home. But you get them at home, should be no problem. So you could probably win your first 4 games. That being said, week 5. Oh man, Penn State comes to town. I think you beat Penn State at the Big House a couple years ago. Penn State did struggle a little bit in that game. They lost. You played them at home last year. 28-21, I think, was the score. It was so close. I think a late stop by Penn State or whatever. But, or no, that was, that was last year. I'm sorry. But it's been close between those two teams. Penn State beat them a couple years ago. Said they wanted Bama. Trust me, you do not want Bama. But you get Penn State at home. I like Penn State this year. I'm going to be straight honest with you. I like Penn State. I think it'll be close, but I just have a feeling maybe James Franklin figures it out and figures out how to win a close game. And I think he pulls it out this year. I'm going to give this game to Penn State. You're going to lose here with your first loss. And then you go on the road at Michigan State. I did a Michigan State preview video already. Got a lot of stuff to figure out. Losing their head coach, losing a lot of talent. I mean, they've lost quite a bit of talent over the years. I don't know how else to say that. It's Michigan State. Home or away, I think Michigan is a better program. I think they're the better team in the state. I think they beat the Spartans week 6. At Minnesota. Woo! This is the big one. Minnesota beat Penn State last year at home. They beat Auburn in the Outback Bowl. It's gonna be it's really gonna be interesting to see. I like Minnesota. I like PJ Fleck. I think he's gonna do something great with this program. I don't see how they could get a whole lot worse. They were they go 10-2, 11-1, or something like that. I think I want to say they went like 11-1 or something, but they made the Big Ten championship, of course, losing to Ohio State. Had they won that, they probably would have made it in the playoffs. I mean, so at Minnesota. Now, if this were a home game for Michigan, I'd give it to Michigan, but I'm going to give it to Minnesota. It's on the road, and they pulled off an upset over Penn State last year. Penn State was really good, too. And I think a better team than Michigan was last year. So we'll have to see what happens, but I like Minnesota to win this game at home. And then you get Purdue week 8. No problem. Purdue, do not beat Ohio State a few years ago. Of course, Ohio State got them on the road, but even still, Purdue? They're like an ACC team in the Big Ten, sir. Come on. Should be no problem for you, Michigan. If you don't win this game, I'm going to come on here and troll you guys and laugh. I'm dead serious. Everybody, Feinbaum, Stephen A. Smith, whoever in college football will laugh at Michigan if they lose this game. I expect them to win against Purdue. Then you get a bye week, week 9. Then you come off a bye week. Maryland. Maryland's interesting. I like the Mike Locksley hire. Can do something with this offense. I like Talia transferring there. It's going to be interesting to see what that looks like. I don't know what to make of Maryland, so I can't really say a whole lot about them. And this game's at home in the big house anyway. So I'll give it to you, Michigan. But even if it was on the road, I'd still give it to Michigan because, again, I don't know what to make of Maryland. I really don't know. We'll have to see. But I'm not doubting Talia. I'm not doubting Mike Locksley. I just don't know. So, then week 11 at Rutgers. Rutgers. I said Rutgers. Do I need to say anything else? They're a cupcake in the Big Ten. They are a Big Ten embarrassment. You should beat them no problem. Home or away. Beat Rutgers. Indiana. Made a bowl game. Lost to Tennessee. Or did they beat Tennessee in that game? I'll have to double check. But it's Tennessee. Tennessee struggled last year. They pulled it out late. With a couple good games just to make a bowl game. What a comeback here for the Vols. They met Indiana. It came down to the wire. It was like a 2 or 3 point game anyway. 1 point game maybe. Indiana's an interesting Big Ten team, I think. Obviously made a bowl game. Won enough games to do that. They could get better. But home or away, I think Michigan is still a far better team than Indiana. I'll give it to Michigan to win here. And I guess it's week 12, but if you look at it, I notice that for week 9 I put bye week, so it's all one extra week or whatever. But week 12, technically speaking, for them. But it would be, I guess it would be week 13 on the schedule. But at Ohio State, need I say more? Even if this is in the big house, Harbaugh cannot find a way to beat Ohio State. And he probably never will. Ohio State's a far better team. They're a title favorite. What do you expect? They got Justin Fields coming back. He's going to potentially could win the Heisman. he'll be in the race. He'll be a runner-up or something. So, that's a loss. That being said, I'll go ahead and end it on this note. You went 9-4 last year with a bowl loss to Bama. This year, in the regular season, 9-3 in 2020. Losses home against Penn State, at Minnesota, and at Ohio State. Those are 3 really good losses, I would say. Though outside of Michigan, and they're not the best team in the Big Ten, but I would say the 4 best teams right now, in my opinion, the way I look at it, the 4 best Big Ten teams are Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, and Minnesota. I really do like Minnesota and PJ Fleck and what he's done. At least what he did last year. Recruiting really well. The Buccaneers actually got Antoine Winfield, who's a safety from Minnesota. They also got that Tyler Johnson, wide receiver guy, who's going to, he's going to be really good. So they'll have to find a way to replace those guys. But I think they could do it. I think PJ Fleck needs to, just keep working on recruiting and stuff. And again, they beat Penn State last year at home. So imagine what's going to happen maybe this year. Michigan goes to town. So anyway, 9-3, 9-3 this year. Maybe 10-2 if they actually pull off a win against maybe Minnesota or Penn State, if they beat Penn State or whatever. I don't know. But I'm going to stick to 9-3. So, anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks so much for watching and tuning in today. If you enjoyed it, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. If you're new, I do college football, NFL, college basketball, NBA, MLB. I'm going to try to get into college baseball, too. My nana was telling me the other day, you need to try to get into as many sports as possible if you're going to be a sportscaster, and she's right. So I'm slowly trying to get into other sports too. Slow transition, slowly trying to learn about it. So, but anyway, there's a lot more to come. There's not a whole lot of sports happening right now, obviously, because of the pandemic. But anyway, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks so much for watching and tuning in today, and I'll see you guys next time. Until then, Ballard Sports Media, checking out. Y'all have a good one.